So I just met my window cleaner, which I haven't seen in over one whole year. And I said to him, he's a short bloke, he is. He's about 5'1" with his stacks on, a chubby chap, and probably less IQ than Baldrick. So anyway, there's two of them, and I saw the other one, and I said, mate, how you doing? Can you do my windows? And he said, yeah, what number are you in? I said, number 6. And he said, have we done them before? I said, yeah, you used to do them about a year ago. Oh, you're the guy in number 6. And then he shouts out the corner, that guy from number 6 here. And then chubby, short fat bloke, ugh, I don't think much of your fruits, by the way. Buckthorn bush. But I've heard these buckthorn berries, if they're frozen, then it loses the bitterness, and then they become reasonably palatable. So I'm going to do that. I've just got to ripen up a little bit before. So Shorty comes round with his ladder, and I said, so can you do my windows, mate? He says, I've got to look in the book, see how much you owe. And I said, well, I mean, you used to come once every 6 weeks, right? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, here's the thing. If I owe you 1 week's clean, which is a 6-week period, then I'll pay that. And then, we can continue to do them every 6 weeks. And he went, I don't know what you owe, mate. I've got to look in the book. And I said, well, look, you've not got the book on you, I'm assuming. So let's just do a bit of vision, because you're here now and you could clean the windows. Because when's the next time you're coming? 4 weeks. I said, so I've got to wait another 4 weeks. The windows are filthy. They haven't been cleaned in a year. He said, well, I can't do anything about that, mate. I said, no, you could do something about it. Let's reason that through now. What is it that's the problem? Well, I don't know how much you owe without looking in the book. And the book's in the office. And I said, well, look, let's assuming that I just owe you for 1 session. And I'll pay you that, and then I'll pay you today after you clean the windows. And then, nobody's at a loss, and, you're not getting insecure about being paid. I told you, mate, without looking in the book, I don't know what you owe. And I said, well, look, does it really matter what I owe? Because if you guys kept cleaning the windows without being paid for 1 whole year, right, well, that's not going to do either one of us any good. Because I'm not going to be paying for your stupidity, in all due respect, mate. Because if you continue to clean them after the second time you've come, which was 12 weeks, knocking on the door, no one there, not getting paid, you might have had a word with the boss, and he might have said, well, he could have died. So best hold fire until you get paid. So assuming you guys weren't that stupid, and you only cleaned them once without getting paid, then I'll pay you that, and then let's do it. And he's rolling his eyes. He's like, without looking in the book, I don't know what you owe. And I said, what does it matter what I owe? Because if I owe 1 year, I'm not giving it you. And you're not going to get the business for the next 10 years whilst I'm living here. So you make your mind up now. Can't you make a decision now? Phone your boss. Why do you need a book? To see how much I owe? Because if you are too stupid to keep on cleaning, then I ain't stupid enough to keep on paying you. But I'm reasonable enough to pay you once. And I'll pay you for today. Anyway, he started to get annoyed with me. So I was talking to him from over the wall. I was in the churchyard. And anyway, I thought, well, I'll go to the gym now. So I walked around the road and I goes back into my flat, and he's there sitting with his sidekick, and they're having their snap. And I said to him, I said, "Are you the boss?" And he went, "He's eating this egg. Little fat chubby cheeks he's got on him, bald head." He said, "Some people call me that." And I said, "I bet your missus don't. I bet she calls you Justin." His mate went like this, eating an apple, like that. And he went, "Oh, you're a comedian, are you?" And I said, "I should be." I said, "Anyway, if you are the boss, that's quite an accomplishment for a man of your stature." I said, "What are you? 5'1"? 5'1 and 3/4? He went, "You're a funny fucker, you are, aren't you?" And I said, "Some people call me that." And I said, "In any case, I can just see it now. Shorty, on your tombstone." I was looking up at the sky and I'm saying, "Shorty, he worked hard in his life. He never managed to raise to any real height, but he was alright and he could have a laugh." And I'm looking at his mate when I'm saying this, and he's sitting in the driver's side and his mate's sitting in the passenger side, and I'm leaning on the window like this, looking into the van, only back this far away from his mate. And his mate, he looks like he's sucking on a wasp. Like this, as the short fat bloke is getting mildly agitated with me. And so he says to me, "I've told you, me or somebody else will see you in 4 weeks' time." And I said, "I look forward to it, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be fun. See you later, shorty." And then I just walked off. And I can imagine what he's saying to his mate. "Funny fucker he is. I'm going to fucking shit on his windowsill if it's me that cleans his windows." Oh my God. You know, when you get people that can't work out the slightest bit of a riddle. You know, for instance, I mean, it's kind of like, well, look, if you want to keep the business, then you write off the whole year that you were stupid enough to clean the windows and you start afresh. That's what a reasonable businessman would do. Right, these are almost ready. At this stage, you think, the more stone than they are anything else. But I'm going to see how Maisie is preparing them, because look, if I was a Neanderthal, feeling like I do now, which is pretty peckish, I was going to stop off at the shop and buy a packet of crisps whilst I walked to the gym. But I forgot. But if I was a Neanderthal man, then whether he's got stones in them or not, I'd be getting a bellyful of those. And probably what I'd do is I'll be swallowing them whole, because I've worked out that it's too labour intensive and I burn up more calories than I'm actually swallowing if I'm trying to nibble around the stone. And so just to swallow them whole would be the simplest thing. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm getting back to the window cleaner. Now, oh, the elderberries also. Look at these. Look at these. Sweet. Elderberry-ish. I'll see what our chubby mate Maisie has got to say about them in his book. So you can, oh, now the rose hips. Look over here, guys and gals. You see them? just a few going slightly orange. And then over here, we've got piles and piles and piles of blackberries waiting to happen. So if I was a wild man, and I'm getting there, then I'd be eating elderberries, hawthorn berries, blackberries, because they'll be about, stinging nettles, as far as the eye can see. I wouldn't be going hungry, would I? Anyway, I digressed. Getting back to Justin, our, let's say, vertically compromised window cleaning genius. I've not had any breakfast, guys and girls, and so just gotta they get pretty moreish, particularly when you're hungry. Oh wow. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, if he had more brains than Baldrick, then he could have made a decision there and then, and he could have said, yeah, okay, we'll call it one clean before and I'll start today. He was there, they had the ladders, but because he wasn't the real boss, he couldn't make a decision like that. He never had the brains to make that sort of decision, and that's why he had to say, the book's in the office. No mate, you gotta ask the boss, haven't you? And you've been told not to disturb him with your stupid window cleaning round nonsense, because he's got a proper job and he's earning proper money. But he's just got this little window cleaning round that's pocket money for his kids. Look what we've got here. We've got garlic. When it gets older, it's more bitter than anything. But like all things, when they're young, they're fresh and sweet. And so, but it's there. If I wanted a little bit of spice for my hawthorn berries, if I boiled up those hawthorn berries, then the flesh would come off of the stone. And then if I rubbed them between two flat pieces of stone to the height of the seed, in actual fact, if I just ground them all up, pulverize the seed, if the seed is edible, and then you just eat it all as a pulp. And then you throw a few garlic leaves, boiled garlic leaves on top. You're sweet, aren't you? And then you got a few blackberries to take away the bitterness. So, yeah, short, fat bloke. He missed the opportunity of earning, if he was the boss, another £7. Obviously wasn't the boss, and he wasn't as accomplished as I gave him credit for when I said to him, quite an accomplishment for a short guy, being a boss of a window cleaning company. Now, don't get me wrong, if he was 6 foot tall and full of muscles, I wouldn't have had that conversation, would I? If I was going to be taking the piss, then I'd have to look for another attribute. Because it couldn't pertain to his shortness and his fatness and his stupidness. Oh, it probably could, his stupidness. You know, we meet these people, and I was kind of reserved about having a little bit of a go at him. And then I thought, well, I'm not being malicious. I'm not going to be saying anything that his missus hasn't told him, 1,000 times over. He thinks if he was the boss of a window cleaning company, as soon as he gets in the house, he ain't the boss anymore. Most certainly, he ain't the boss. And so, where he's eating his egg, his hard-boiled egg, and I said, "Are you the boss?" "Some people call me that." I'm like, "I better know they do." You're dreaming, bro. You're not even responsible enough to take on £7 worth of business when given the opportunity. Oh my God, the people that walk this earth. Stop it, Aaron. Stop it. Thou shalt not judge. Thou shalt accept all of God's creatures, just as we accept ourselves. Love thy neighbour. In the Old Testament, the commandments, the first one was love God with all your heart and pray to God and worship God. That's the first commandment. In the New Testament, Jesus only had 2 commandments, and one of them was, the first one, love thy neighbour as you love thyself. And I think the second one was love God. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, guys and girls, but there's no more commandments carved out of stone. It's just word of mouth. Love thy neighbour, and then love God. You see, the cleverness of the condensation of the Old Testament into the New Testament is very clever, people. And the writers realised that to have those 10 commandments, they were too confusing. 10 commandments, by the time people have tried to learn them, they learned 3. Love God with all thy heart. Number 3, worship God. Number 4, don't worship anything else but God. Can we just love God? And so Jesus, he went, look, all that stuff that Moses came down from the mountain with, right? It's a bit complicated. 10 things to remember. It's a bit much, really. So I'm going to condense them into 2. And the first one being, love each other. Simple, really. Just love each other. And then, love God. He never said love me at the time. That was something written by somebody else. It would be a bit... It's kind of like if someone was going around saying, love me, love me. I think he would have got stoned if he'd have started that one. But he said, love the Father and love yourselves. Now, if you look at that wisdom, the 2 commandments, if we did do that and we didn't do anything else, then our lives would be absolute bliss. Because if we all could love each other, and if we all could get along spontaneously with this notion of having a Father up in the heavens who has a house just waiting for us, and it's all awesome and cushy, and it's the best thing since sliced bread up there, Well, there's nothing to be disgruntled about, is there, anymore? You just think, well, everybody loves me. Everybody in the whole world loves me. Well, I may as well love them back. Just like for simplicity. And then if everybody loves everybody, then we're just one big happy family. Wow. Can you imagine that, people? Is it imaginable? I mean, it doesn't seem even remotely feasible. But is it imaginable? Can we even imagine what it would be like if we all loved each other? If we all loved George Bush? If we all loved like Richard Dawkins? If we all loved Joe Biden? If we all loved, who's that smarmy, boyish faced geek who's the Prime Minister of Canada? What's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. That scoundrel. Now he doesn't love his neighbour, that is for sure. He is a jumped up little twerp, if you ever saw one. Oh my word. I can't find myself loving these people. God, why did you afflict me so? With a level of reason. Because it's the reason that prevents me from loving geeks like that do despicable things. What he was doing. Oh, what's his name? It's coming to me. Prime Minister of Canada. I know you're all screaming at it now, and you're screaming the name at me. Macron was the French one, and he was a tyrant also. Some public school twerp. Anyway, no, I can't love them. I can pity them. I suppose I can love them in a pitiful way. Just like, well, they're so ridiculous. They're so beguiled. They're so indoctrinated. It's not their fault. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. I mean, oh, okay then. I can start a little bit loving them. I suppose if I, continued with that mantra on that train of thought, then it would get easier and easier. Because at the end of the day, these people, they're not responsible for what they do. They've been conditioned, just like automaton, throughout their whole lives to do what they're doing now. And it wouldn't be possible for them to walk away. Having the carrot dangled in front of them. Can you imagine? Look, Obama. I read 3 of Obama's books just before he was president. And in those books, he was a senator and he was a lawyer. And he wasn't grossing any more than $200,000 a year. Probably more like 100 grand. And all of a sudden now, he's worth like an absolute fortune. I don't want to speculate, but figures being bounded around like 50 million. Stupid figures like that, And where did that money come from? Well, you didn't earn that being the president, because the president is only like 200 or 300 grand a year, unless you're fiddling the books for expenses. But where's all these millions come from? Bent backhanders. That's where. But you see, because once they get let in to these Masonic old boys clubs, they have to sign their lives away, and they are then bought and paid for. They've sold their soul to Mephistopheles, ladies and gentlemen, and there is no turning back. And so the powers that be get hold of these people when they're in boarding schools, when they're in Catholic schools, and then when they go to these universities. And being born from these families, their parents and ancestors were all captivated by the same crew, and so they're born into it. And so can we really blame them? Can we blame the spirit that's trapped within these egoic vessels, these programmed vessels? They're just programmed. Still feel a little bit peckish. Now you can eat the whole dandelion plant, and they're pretty good. a slight bitter taste in the stalk, but the flowers are sweet. And so if there's any in your neck of the woods, you can grab a whole bunch of those and throw them over your salad. And can you imagine eating a salad with all those on? Those little bursts of sunshine. Beautiful. So what have we got from down here? We've got blackberries, we've got elderberries, we've got rose hips, we've got hawthorns, we've got those little buckthorn berries, and I know there's crab apples and there's plums down there, and then there's various fungi that I found down there. There's cow parsnip. There's loads of stuff, and that's only what I've learnt in just a few weeks. And so it's just stuff everywhere. There's stuff everywhere. And so anyway, what was I was talking about that short fat bloke who was vertically challenged, had the brains less of Baldrick, and Mrs. called him Justin, and his mates all called him Shorty. Oh my God. I just hope he's got a sense of humour. I didn't see him upsetting that much. Probably because he was afraid of my muscles. Anyway, I'm at the gym, guys and gals. Gotta keep it real. Gotta do another 2-minute pumping it up session.